All right, this is going to be my last separate video before we get into the full trade deadline review. So everything that I've missed up to this point, I will put in that video. But I wanted to make this one separately because the Maple Leafs fans are going to like it. And their team made some good moves today, and I want to talk about them. First off, let's start off with the Scott Laughton one, where they acquired Scott Laughton from the Philadelphia Flyers, 50% retained, along with a 2025 fourth-round pick and a 2027 sixth-round pick from the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for a 2027 conditional first-round pick and forward Nikita Grabankin. So, yeah, I'll start off with the Toronto end here because you guys know that I am a Flyers fan, and this was difficult for me. First off, Toronto gets Laughton along with a fourth and a sixth. Good draft capital to add on. You can maybe trade that at a future deadline for some depth players. Maybe. We'll see. But, yeah, you get Laughton, who is a hard worker. I'm going to say that. He always worked hard with the Flyers. In my entire time watching the team, first off, he's been there all of the years. And there wasn't really a point where I criticized him necessarily because he was always working hard. You never really had anything bad to say about him. He always was a hard worker. He played with a style that he played on the edge. He played a fierce type of game sometimes. He can score you some additional goals and get you the additional 4-goal game sometimes. But he was always that kind of player. He was always a player who was unselfish, a team player, really cared for this community, was great with people, and I'm going to miss him a lot as a Flyers fan. It's really sad for this because he has been a Flyer my entire life. Since I started watching hockey, he's been a Flyers fan. He's been a Flyer. And it's pretty emotional, to be honest with you guys. And I really do think that Toronto's getting a great piece here, especially at like a 50% retention for that amount of time. It's great for the Maple Leafs. I love it for them. I think that he's going to be such a great ad and do so well. And I hope they win a cup with him. I do. I really hope he gets to win a championship because if there's anybody that has played for the Flyers, I would say besides maybe Claude Giroux, that deserves it, it's Scott Laughton. And I hope he gets one for the sake of it. It's going to be real funny, though, if Laughton plays his friend Claude Giroux in the playoffs. That'd be kind of funny, to be honest with you. But, yeah, that was... It's emotional. It's rough. On the other end for the Flyers, we'll talk about it while I'm at it. This is not just specifically a Leafs video, but the Flyers get a 2027 conditional first-round pick, which is top 10 protected, and forward Nikita Grabankin, you get a top 10 protected 2027 pick. I like that. Again, that pick might not even be here by 2027 because the Flyers might trade it for somebody by then. Hopefully, we're trying to contend by 2027. I sure hope. Otherwise, it'll be a rough time for me then, I'm sure. But, yeah, overall, I like that. I like getting a first thinker banking. Back check, forward check, paycheck is what he's known in Toronto. He's going to be a very good ad. I think that he's going to fit in well in the AHL program with the Phantoms. And I think that he's going to be somebody who I'm really looking forward to watching. And hopefully he maybe gets the NHL role at some point this season. The Flyers now have a lot more spots on their roster where they can call up some players. So I really do like it in that perspective from the Flyers. They get some good ads there in the back end with Grabankin and a first-round pick they can use later on, and Toronto gets a guy like Scott Laughton. I love it. The next trade is not yet official, and I don't know the exact return for it, so I might be wrong here when I'm making this video when the official trade does get revealed, but I really don't have time to wait around for it to become official. So, there was a three-way deal between the Boston Bruins, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Pittsburgh Penguins, where the Maple Leafs acquired Brandon Carlo at 15% retained from the Boston Bruins in exchange for Fraser Minnion and a first-round pick, and the Penguins traded for Connor Timmins and Connor Dewar, and I imagine there's likely going to be a late-round pick going the other way with Pittsburgh, but I don't really know that as of right now. There might be another part of this trade that I don't know, so I want you guys to keep that in mind because I don't know, to be honest with you. But I'll start in the Toronto end. They get a top 4 defenseman in Brandon Carlo. They needed that. They needed another guy to be solidified on that top 4. And with Tanev out especially, you needed a guy there. And you get a guy in Carlo who I think can be perfect. He's a career very good defenseman. I think he's like a career plus minus like 129. That's like insane. Played on some really good Bruins teams though. So He's been there for a while. He has experience. He's played against the Maple Leafs, and he brings, a lot of playoff experience as well to Toronto, even though Toronto, I don't really know if they need that because they've been in the playoffs a lot, even though it is, first round exits a lot of the time. But overall, Carlo going to be a great add on that blue line, 100% for the Maple Leafs. As for Boston, they get Fraser Minten. That's your top prospect right there. Minten's going to be a good player. I would argue is a top 50 prospect in the NHL. He's very entertaining, very exciting, has a lot of potential, a very underrated guy there as well, and a 2026 first-round pick. You don't know what next year is going to be like with next year. It's going to be a stacked draft, and the fact that you're already going to have 2 first-round picks next year and a first-round pick in 2027, if Marchand does play the amount of games that he has to play, obviously, you're in a good spot there if you're the Boston Bruins. So I like it there from that perspective for the Bruins. They get a good prospect who is their number 1 guy now and a first-round pick, and suddenly a pool of Letourneau, Minten, Liesel, and whoever they get in this year's draft, suddenly they have a good pool. I don't know. Sweeney might keep his job, even though there's some people who are calling for his head. But, yeah, that's pretty much the deal. Again, the Penguins do get Timmins and Dewar. It's just a cap dump for Toronto, and Pittsburgh's helping them out. I don't think that the Penguins are going to get a lot back in return, maybe like a 6th-round pick or something like that at most, possibly. But, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on this one. It's a big deal. It's a big trade. 2 big trades for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They give up a lot of their future and going all in to win it now. So let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.